Hello everyone! Last time, we tried to see if you could beat a Gen 3 game with a Gen 4 Pokemon. Today is a continuation of that. We'll be trying to see if we can beat Fire Red with a single Rufflet. I replaced Zapdos with Rufflet, including his stats, sprites, and moveset. I gave Rufflet his moveset from Generation 5 as well. I seem to keep forgetting to go over the rules, but the rules are the same for all of my solo runs. Use of items are forbidden in battle, except for held items. No use of cheats or glitches. And Rufflet is the only Pokemon I can use in battle. I believe this may be one of the easier challenges I have done, but with how they recently remade Gen 1, only being able to use Gen 1 Pokemon, I wanted to use a later gen in Kanto, so this is mostly a treat for myself. I replaced Charmander as the starter, so my rival gets Blastoise. I think its higher defense stat will make things harder compared to each of the other starters. With that out of the way, let's get started. First thing we do is grab our little buddy Rufflet and name him Risky. Let me know if you understand the reference. Our first rival battle isn't that much of a problem. Squirtle puts up a good fight, but it is not enough. One thing I know will be an issue is Brock. We don't learn any moves that aren't flying or normal by level up, and in this generation Brock has Rock Tomb on his Onix. We beat every trainer on the way through the forest to get some EXP, but it only gets us to level 9. Rufflet is strong compared to the other Pokemon I've used, but he is in the slow EXP group. We can't even beat the first trainer's Geodude in the gym, so we're gonna have to grind on weak Pokemon in the forest. At 13, we challenge the trainer again. My strategy right now is to use Wing Attack until Defense Curl raises his defense too high, preventing us from being able to deal too much damage. Then switch to use Fury Attack. This was enough to take the Geodude out, and since Sandshrew doesn't resist flying, Wing Attack finishes him off. This strategy works well on Brock's Geodude as well. He likes to spam Defense Curl, so if we keep at it we can get to Onix with a fair bit of health. Unfortunately, this is the end of the road. Onix doesn't have Defense Curl, so we can't waste turns spamming it. Rock Tomb does major damage and lowers our speed as well, ensuring Onix's next attack will be faster. I waste all my money on Repel so I don't keep losing money while I fight Brock, and I can just keep going at him. Geodude gives me the most EXP, so it's worth losing to him over and over again. Oddly enough, at level 17, Onix used one Rock Tomb for his first attack, then kept spamming Bind. This gave us enough turns to knock out Onix. I don't know why he didn't use Rock Tomb again, which would have finished us off, but a win's a win. Now I can finally get running shoes. Even though we are much higher level than any NPC before Misty, we still beat everyone on the way. Because of our EXP group, we still need every bit we can with how long grinding on wild Pokemon will be if we were underprepared arriving at Cerulean. Mount Moon went great this time since I brought a bunch of repels. I take a crack at Misty right away, thinking maybe level 22 would be enough, but we still can't one-hit Staryu, and Starmie does way too much damage with Water Pulse. Instead, we take a crack at a rival who is actually pretty easy. Everything is pretty much a one-shot with the occasional 2. Funny, since usually the rival is the brick wall when Misty is the one that gets finished off first. I once again fight every available trainer, but we only level up about 3 times. We can now one-shot Staryu, but Starmie gets us confused. Then we hit ourselves, and things don't go well from there. Although I do have some concerns with my attempts because it took 5. 5 because the first 4 battles, Water Pulse confused me after the first hit, and I hit myself every time. The last 2 battles, I hit myself twice. 5th time it doesn't confuse me, so we can get Starmie down in 2 hits. That battle made me have to double check Water Pulse's effect accuracy, and although it's higher than I thought, that being I thought it was 10% but it's actually 20, how unlucky do you need to be for that to work 4 times in a row? And for me to hit myself as well. Once we arrived at Ssan, I decided not to fight everybody and just go straight to the rival. His team hasn't grown much from the last time, and it goes about the same. Especially now that we have Slash. Kadabra did disable it, but that didn't last very long. Because we did so well, I avoided the other trainers, minus the one at Surge's gyms, to avoid being way overleveled. I don't like sweeping through everything, I do enjoy a challenge. Like how Wooper was. Surge seemed to have been going well, until I got smacked with Pikachu's static. Raichu took full advantage of that and spammed Double Team. I was hoping to finish it off quick with Slash, but I kept missing, and having paralysis kick in. I tried switching to Aerial Ace, but it was too late and he finished me off. The following attempt, I didn't activate Static, then slash crit and one-shot Raichu. That was even better than Misty was. Unfortunately, getting Flash is still out of the question. I do catch Pokemon for HM moves, but I feel catching enough feels a bit cheap, so I walk into the darkness and still not remember exactly where I'm going. We get about halfway, then get steamrolled by a Graveler. I forgot that Meowth, my cut TM slave, had Pickup, and the first item that it had was Rare Candy. That's a 1% roll, I'm pretty sure. Our rival in Lavender Town is the same as usual, except now he has Growlithe with Intimidate. Even with that, his team is still underleveled, and gets defeated pretty quickly. I avoid all the trainers before I meet up with Erica, but even with that, she's still the grass trainer. I'm surprised Vileplume survived, but with enough spamming, she was a joke. I collected the Eevee for Vaporeon since we don't have a Surf member. For those who are thinking it's been a bit easy up until now, well, things are going to start changing around here. Rocket Base isn't a problem, but Giovanni has an Onix and a Rhyhorn. Both of these Pokemon force me to do chip damage. And worst part is, Rhyhorn's Scary Face lowers my speed, making Kangaskhan faster than me, who likes to also lower my defense and use Mega Punch. All these together put way too much pressure on us. After a series of attempts, Kangaskhan for some reason didn't use Mega Punch and instead of finishing me off, used Leer, giving us the victory. Not sure why, but we take those. Lavender Tower doesn't give us any issues, but I do find it funny that when I was a kid, I used to think that flying didn't hit Ghost like normal did. Maybe because I would forget that Pidgey is part normal, so since Ghost didn't hit it, I thought flying worked the same way? Well, either way, if that was true, with my current moveset we couldn't get through this. But luckily, I was just a dumb kid. We hit Koga, and he's even more of a wall than Giovanni was. Now that we're back to being around the same level as every major battle we come across, we aren't doing as much damage as we need to, and Sludge just won't stop poisoning us. Even with the berry, it still poisons at some point in the battle. I'm forced to retreat and level up a bit. We get Crush Claw, and manage to defeat Koga, but the footage I got ended up being corrupted. Good thing I checked right away and didn't save after Koga. Luckily this fight wasn't too hard to pull off again. Koga made quite a few bad AI mistakes, and even though we did get hit with Toxic, after using our berry, we pulled off a lucky crit after dropping his defense, so it all worked out. Our next rival isn't bad. He knocked us out a couple times, but overall he's a decent fight. Only annoying part is, I've noticed Gen 3 AI loves to use Protect multiple times and have it work. Although that doesn't matter too much, since Crush Claw is a monster of a move, and it came in handy with Blastoise. Giovanni is still a wall with his Nidorino having Poison Point. His Rhyhorn also now has Rock Blast, which is great. It's funny how the usually easy trainers are hard in this run, and the hard trainers are easy. More on that later, but with a combination of luck and more luck, he eventually goes down. We get lost in Sabrina's gym. And I mean, full out lost. I mean, just look at this. Although once I do get to her, she's not that much of a challenge, as I was saying about the hard trainers being easy and vice versa. Luckily, getting out of the gym only took a portion of the time. Next, straight to Blaine. The funny thing is, I found out it's possible to get to Blaine before Sabrina. Now Blaine is not that easy. He starts off right away with Growlithe, so we already are at a disadvantage. Let alone, all his moves are special, so he's attacking our worst defense. Even when things go well, and we take down his first 3 Pokemon, he sends out Arcanine, which gives us a second Intimidate. We don't have any moves to buff us out of this one. I'm stuck grinding a couple more levels, and he's still wiping the floor with us. Luckily, we didn't wait too much longer for our luck to turn around. We managed to get through his first 3 Pokemon taking little damage, and with Arcanine, we got off a crit Crush Claw, ignoring our defense drops and taking him out. Now, Giovanni's gym is the worst of them all. Even all of the NPC trainers are basically more difficult than a gym leader. We have no moves that will deal anywhere close to decent damage. The only thing we can do is have Crush Claw lower the defense of the rock type Pokemon, just enough for us to take them out. we usually end up fainting on their last Pokemon, but I actually consider that a good thing, since these trainers are the best EXP we can get up to this point. We arrived at the gym at level 56, and it takes us to level 62 before we actually start getting things going with Giovanni. We learn Brave Bird finally, and although it is a great move, the recoil does a lot to us. With Giovanni having 2 Rhyhorns back to back, spamming Scary Face and Rock Blast, it's really hard to get through. We eventually get through it, where we don't take that much damage up until Nidoqueen, where we get paralyzed with Body Slam. Even with that though, we attack through it 4 times, and survive 2 Thrashes from Nidoking, finally getting us the last gym out of the way. Now normally in these runs, we would be at least in the mid 70s, but we were still only in the mid 60s, and the EXP group we are in is really starting to show. Dratini was in the same EXP group, but Johto's trainers are so low, it makes no difference what EXP group you're in. But here, the region is more balanced. We are once again stuck grinding our level on an opponent that is keeping us locked from progress. Rhyhorn is still a wall until making a realization. I picked up Steel Wing earlier, so not only will this solve our problem, but I also could have really used this to help me with Giovanni. Anyways, it's better late than never, but even with that, the battle is still a mess. Pidgeot can Feather Dance me, and that dooms me right on the spot. Luckily, we do manage to get through to Blastoise with higher HP than usual, and Crush Claw lowers his defense just enough for us to defeat him in 3 hits. And now finally, we start the Elite Four. Lorelei is first, and right away we are underprepared. If we get hit twice by any attacking move, we are dead. Sometimes even once. All through this, I keep thinking if we just get past her, once she's out of the way, it will be easy. But we just can't win, no matter how many times I throw this bird straight at her face. I eventually decided I had to grind and come back. It took us needing to be level 79 before we even stood a chance. I have no idea what was up with Slowbro this one. First off, we missed 3 Crush Claws, got put to sleep, and still eventually woke up and took it out because it kept using Amnesia and Yawn while we slept. It did get us with 1 Ice Beam, but because we leveled up, the Ice Beam from Lapras just barely didn't kill us. If we didn't level up, I'm pretty sure that would have been it. Now, usually Bruno is considered the easiest Elite Four member, and that would be correct if we were just flying. But because we are normal, we don't resist anything that he has. We are very lucky to have Steel Wings so we can try to build up our defenses on Onix, but he manages to finish us off without much issue. Although this fight did teach me that Sky Uppercut hits you when you're flying. I should have known it by the name, but hey, who said I was the brightest? Luckily, he doesn't use it too often, even when I'm in the sky. And Machamp likes to use Bulk Up, but we managed to get him down fairly quickly. I don't honestly have much to say about Agatha. Ghost is physical in this gen, and Gengar is a special attacker. Gengar only takes 2 Steel Wings to go down. Arbok is a bit of a problem because of his Intimidate and him poisoning us, but once he goes down, is just Haunter left over. Lance is great since Gyarados comes out first, lowering our attack immediately. Even when we get past him, Aerodactyl likes to use Ancient Power. It will deal over half damage, and because we deal just about half to him, if he gets stat boosts, we can't finish him off, and then he takes us out. And even if we get past that, Dragonair likes to use Thunder Wave, dooming us for Dragonite. Unfortunately, that's just too overwhelming for us, and I'm stuck needing to leave. I catch 25 more Pokemon so we can get the item finder and get leftovers. Unfortunately in this game, even though leftovers is a hidden item where Snorlax was, it doesn't appear unless you use the item finder where Snorlax was. I know I said it felt cheap doing this for Flash, but even though it feels cheap, doesn't mean it's against the rules. Now just because we have leftovers doesn't mean it's instantly over. He's still way stronger than us. It's just that leftovers will help. We can use Fly to help stall and get 2 turns of leftovers in one. That mixed with Steel Wing giving us defense boost may be the only reason why this battle is possible. But with leftovers, it makes us unable to use a berry for healing paralysis. That isn't an issue this time however, since we get a crit with Fly. I believe that only one Dragonair has Thunder Wave as well, since the other one doesn't use it. Because our defense up from earlier, Outrage doesn't do that much. As for Dragonite, due to Crush Claw getting the defense decrease we need, we were able to finish it off with 2 flies, although just hanging on. Now if you thought the rival was going to be an easy fight like last time, man, you were terribly wrong. He's an absolute nightmare. Even with the leftovers, this is the hardest fight I've had. If Pidgeot uses Feather Dance, Run's dead. If Rhydon lowers my speed, Run's dead. If we get burned by Arcanine, Run's dead. The only way we can win is if Pidgeot uses Aerial Ace, Rhydon misses twice, Alakazam is slower, and we can one-hit it, so we just need to not miss. We must not take too much damage from Arcanine, and he must not get a burn, and we have to lower his defense with Crush Claw, or he won't deal enough damage. And finally, Blastoise can't hit us since he spams Hydro Pump, and we have to lower his defense with Crush Claw. I spent a couple days on this, and I got to Blastoise only 3 times. One time, I lost only because I crit him into the red, and then he healed. I decided I have to use Double Team, or I would have to start over. Even then, this took a long time. Do you understand how defeated you feel when you get hit with Sleep Powder after using 6 Double Teams twice? We finally get to Blastoise with good HP. We get the defense drop, and this guy still lands a Hydro Pump. He gets brought to the red, then heals again. We attack some more while he misses, and it's done. Now that I've done 5 of these, I should start ranking how hard each run was. And here it is, with 1 being the hardest and 5 being the easiest. Feel free to vote. Feel free to vote what you want as the next challenge. I'm curious what you'll suggest, since almost any Pokemon is on the table.